Welcome back to the Slightly Average Guys show, where we do slightly average shit for slightly average money. Wait,
Oh,
have you gotten?
You're
have
getting
you guys
paid?
gotten paid?
Who's
Yeah,
getting
I haven't
paid?
got paid. Have you guys got? Well, yeah,
I think you Venmoed me $20 last week.
I did, but I mean, now it's just that seems like way below the bar, so it's slightly average money for what we normally have. So, you
I
know,
see what you did there.
yeah, I it's just going on. How's it going, guys? How have you been?
Sure.
Great start.
No,
Great
nothing?
start.
Nothing?
Andy's doing
Oh, you guys,
sure.
Sure.
Is that short for Shirley or what? I don't know.
Yeah. Doing well, I guess. How about you?
Oh, hi, Andy. I'm
Hey.
also doing well.
Brain left
I've been progressing on my life.
Okay, good.
As a
You're a
person.
homeowner. That's good.
Yeah. I'm making moves, man. I'm doing big things in 2023.
You got to.
And the Teeter family, it's going places.
Okay.
I mean, you're TikTok famous now. You're having a great time.
Officially TikTok famous.
You know, I mean, that's based upon you just putting that thing in your title. So, I mean, it is what it is.
It says it's what it is right there.
Yeah.
I can't argue with a fact that's being stated in the bottom left-hand corner of my.
I mean, first off, obviously, we appreciate everybody being back and everything, and joining us, whether it's this week, next week, upside down, inside out. Show us what you're all about. I mean,
not inside
just
the clothes.
wave your hands around like you just don't care. Just saying, as long as hey, I have clothes on from the belt line up. I don't know about you guys.
Nope.
I won't answer that question.
Okay, Ryan, don't stand up, but let's get the show going on. First off, I mean, it's a good topic, good segue to go into. Like, you have a theory on belt loops or a question on belt loops. So explain to us what your problem with belt loops are, or what you wish the universe would change to.
Let me rephrase the question a little bit. Do you guys wear pants? Do you guys? Where did Ryan go?
No.
Why is this just a conversation between Andy and I?
I mean, I was trying to get you guys to interact a little bit more, but you know,
Okay.
We all wear pants.
Andy's just there shaking his head, forgets that there are audio listeners. You know,
No, I said sometimes.
We all wear
Sometimes.
pants.
Sometimes.
Most of us wear belts, right? Sweatpants aren't included in this, but pants, right? Stuff that has belt loops. I've been putting on my pants for
one leg at a time.
A long time now. One leg at a time. And what I just come to the realization of is no pants, unless they're probably same brand, obviously, have the same belt loop location around the waistband. And one of my pants is quite annoying because here's my button where I button my pants, and there's two belt loops right next to the damn thing. So your belt buckle, barely fits in the middle of it. And I'm just like, one, that's really annoying. Some of them only have like two on the side and one in the back. So it's like holding up like half of your stuff. It's just weird, man. I just don't know, out of all the jeans and stuff that are out there, they haven't figured out like a best scenario.
Do you need
or like
more
a
belt
design
loops?
that
Yeah,
helps?
what are you pitching for? That's the question.
Yeah.
Also, I will be
improvements
right back.
on
Continue
jean
talking.
belt loops, right? There's
Like
got to
more?
be an improvement.
You want more? Do you feel not supported by the?
It's not that I
floor?
don't feel supported. I don't
Okay.
feel like they're in the appropriate areas.
I see. Okay.
And if you would draw a circle, right, you'd probably want to, if you only had 5 points on a circle to put out around the circle, you're not going to put them all around the front, right? You're not going to put them all around the back. You're probably going to spread them out decently evenly. Would I imagine that be correct?
Does it change if you, so like, okay, you assume that based on you and how you are built now, but let's say you're like really fat and you have a huge gut. Do you want more in the front or more in the back to counteract? Same question then, if you have a giant booty, do you need more in the back to?
No, if you got a
wish
giant
I could
booty,
now draw a circle and
you got a giant
describe
booty.
my perfect scenario of where belt loops should be.
now if you got a giant booty, then you don't have to worry about it because you're not even wearing a belt. Your butt's holding it up.
Just a shelf of butt.
Okay, let's do this.
Butt shelf.
Feel your hip bones.
I wish there was
right?
a whiteboard. I wish there was a whiteboard.
Yeah, that'd be great.
feel your hip bones right now.
Okay.
I want 2 belt loops just inside my hip bones. Okay, just inside. I think that's perfect.
Okay.
You then need 2 on the side. Okay,
Like
and
holsters.
a lot of everything has 1 in the back, and that's acceptable. I think that's fine, but I think you should need 2. That way you're supporting more in the back, and that's why belt loops get all like, they kind of like dive in sometimes if you wear the same belt over the years, right? There's a lot of stress back there. There's a lot of pressure. So why don't you expand that pressure and put another belt loop back there? Everybody has hip bones no matter where they're at.
I mean, you got under pressure, looking down on me.
2 in the back on the opposite side of where your hip bones are. And if you look at, you're going to now realize this. Everywhere you look on your pants, they're all in different areas, unless you've bought like the 3 pairs of the same pants.
Yeah, it's just a good point. Wouldn't it be easier to sew pants with them on the back the same spot that they are on the front? Like,
that's another good point.
I personally don't have any of these, but have you seen the ones where the it's got 1 in the back and then it crisscrosses? It's like, okay, so you sewed 2 in. Yeah, you sewed 2 in and put 1 in the same spot. Like, what is going on?
In case 1 breaks, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows. I mean, you wake up to this is what's going on. You're talking about belt loops. You're talking about trying to figure out how to keep your ass out of everybody else's face. You got crack kills. That's what I know. That's why we're worried about this, because we grew up in the dare movement. We learned stop, drop, and roll. And you probably should do drugs because, life's kind of mellow every once in a while and you got to kick it up a notch. So,
not going to condone that message, but I do have a big butt. I got a big butt. Haters going to hate. Lovers going to love it. But
sure. Yeah.
Belt loops are important to me.
Well, this is a riveting, statement. And I don't want to lose all of our many, many followers due to this. So let's move on to big things that are going on in your life. Like, I heard that you had to go back to school, Ryan. I mean, is this defensive driving? Did you and Andy have to show each other where somebody touched you on a doll?
No, I did not get pulled over for drinking.
Okay, you didn't get pulled over for drinking, but you didn't deny. Yeah, show us on the doll. Point to where he touched you as a child.
On the male chicken.
Do we all here, have we graduated from college?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Ryan, put Andy and I back on the screen, please. Andy.
Yes, sir.
Did you do anything? And Ryan, you can come back in too, but did you guys do anything after you graduated? Did you ever have to go back to school?
I could have. I mean, like to finish or to pursue higher education.
You have gone back, Andy. You've gone back and got a degree in programming and shit. So your answers to his questions, yes. Okay. Also, I have as well for different software trainings, which is not like school, but it is training.
Okay. So going back to school, I was never into school. I was never a straight A student. I was just there to have fun, and I never had to study really much either. And I just got by. I passed. It's all great. The only thing that matters is you got a degree.
Exactly. I recently, it doesn't matter if you got an A or a D as long as you pass.
I recently got an offer from my company to say, hey, if you get this right, this could progress you forward and give us that like reason to help progress you forward. Like, do this and we'll pay you more. Let's just call a spade a spade. And so I'm like, one, I really thought heavily about this because I hate school and I will not ever go back to school. But the benefits outweighed the the problems. So I went back to school. It was miserable. I studied my ass off 4 to 5 hours a night. And that wasn't even cramming. I was just like doing this consistently. And it was brutal.
Appealing to me at all. This is why I don't care about the digits that are after my name or before my name. Like,
yeah. After I took that exam, I passed. It was well worth it. I passed it once. That's the best part. I didn't have to take it again. I literally felt like I needed to cry. I was like, you ever seen that Rick and Morty episode where they go on that long adventure that they don't really explain much about, but at the end they sit in the car and they're like,
just crying.
That was legit me. I was so exhausted emotionally.
So what did you get? Like what certificate, project management? Like what are we talking here?
Yeah, that's a great question. I got my PMP certification, which is a project management professional certification.
Yeah.
So
it's rough.
It was rough.
Yeah.
And here's the worst part of it. They give you a wide range of like study materials, right? I took one mock exam. It was a full length mock exam, right? 4 hours long, 180 questions. Took that. Took 3 other timed practice exams that were the same, 4 hours long, 180 questions, right? Out of those 4 full length exams that I took, one was extremely similar to the exam. The other 4 were not. So I focused on areas where they told me I needed to focus on. I started focusing on like more mathematical, like formulas and equations and stuff, memorizing those. I started focusing on words. Great, Ryan. You focused on words.
Yeah, good
Definitions. I'm sorry.
You did
I
it.
started focusing on definitions. I started doing all of this focused, like study here instead of studying here. And I got to the exam. I didn't even touch my calculator once. Barely any of it. Maybe like 4 questions that I can remember were even definitions. It was all situational based. What would you do knowing this information? I tried to skip through some of the bullshit like before the question like type words because I was like, sometimes that shit doesn't even matter. They just ask you a question that's irrelevant to what's being said.
Yep.
I had to read every fucking question. It was all, what would you do in this situation? What would you do next? What would you do after this? What do you think you would do if you were in his shoes doing that to her?
Yep.
Huh? And I was just like getting pissed off. I finished the very last question with 20 seconds left on the clock.
Ooh.
Also, it was super time then. Like it wasn't even like, hey, get this done today.
Dude, it was so frustrating. But I guess moral of the story is work hard, play hard. I did it.
Stay off drugs.
Stay off drugs. And now I'm celebrating. Cheers.
All right. Well,
Congrats.
good on you. I like I said, have gone only not as an actual school thing, but like gone back for training for like software things. And I've learned that I am not a person that learns by going through a book or a manual or things like that. Is not me. Like I can reference a manual for like, hey, like I have a specific question. I'll go research that. But like to learn how to do something, no. Just give me the username and password. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what kind of bothers me the most is that I literally found a document that gave me example questions, and I did that. But then immediately afterwards, it was a PDF, you scroll down and it gives you the answer. But it also tells you why the answer is trying to trick you. And I'm like, who does that? What kind of real world situation goes, hey Ryan, hey Andy, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to trick you, and you need to get it right. Like, who does? Just give me it straight.
When
the IRS, hang on,
Yeah.
the IRS, they already have all of your information. They know exactly the amount of taxes that you should pay, but they want you to fill out all the paperwork just to see if your matches. So
why don't you tell me how much you think you should pay?
Oh,
I like those memes that are like, why don't you guess? And then if you're wrong, you go to jail.
Oh my God.
Even though we know every amount of all the money you've made, and we already know the amount you should pay, but I want to see if you can figure it out.
Yeah.
That should be on our next podcast. Is let's answer some of those questions.
Yeah.
Write it down. I'm gonna write it down in the Discord.
So I was going to say that when I took my real estate exam, it's the same thing. So they give you these long scenarios to get you thinking in one direction, but in reality, it's this term that you're looking for, the definition of a word. But in reality, and you'll probably encounter this too, all of these terms. So like your mortgage isn't really called a mortgage. There's a technical term that nobody calls it that. And like all these crazy things, you don't ever use that in real life. Like I have a couple buddies that do real estate, and I'm sure you guys do too, but you could ask them like the stuff you learn in school. You're not calling somebody like, oh, there's an easement or you're, blah, blah, blah. Like you're not saying stuff like that because most people have no clue. But 100%, even the math questions where I know it's a math question and I have to determine percentage of sale, or I'm trying to put this much money into then recoup this much investment. It tricks you. You're like, what am I reading? It makes you really second guess what you're doing.
Yeah. One of them's like, and they put double negatives into the question sometimes. Which one is not the best non-response, or like, it was a double negative. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. For me, when I went back to school, I mean, like I went full on like degree, and I enjoyed all of it. The parts of it just like, oh, I got to read and share and like participate. That was stupid. But it's been 10 years this year, actually, since I graduated. However, at my work, I call it a book club, but we all have this management or leadership book, and it comes with a workbook. And so we meet every week to talk about it and to like collaborate and share. Now, not for me. I love the journey of exploring and the reading part of it. Writing it down is very interesting. It's called a field book. But then the sharing of it, nope, I don't want to do that. I'll do this self-discovery.
Emotions, nope, out the window.
Nope. It's not even for that. Trust me. If it was for that, I'd play the game. But nope. This is like professional development, which I'm all for. But the fact that we share and we collaborate like that, that's a whole different piece to the puzzle. But they don't go together. Let me develop myself. That's why it's called self-development.
Yeah.
It's esteem of the motherfucking self. It's
like,
called self-esteem.
Like I graduated school and I was like, yeah, done with that. Not ever doing anything ever again.
Seriously.
And then again, the opportunity presents itself. You have to second guess it and you just do it. Right. I did it. After I finished, I'm putting my fist down. I'm never doing that again. Dude. And I hope there's never another situation where I have to go get like my MBA or something like that, or a master's in something.
The true question is, was the raise worth it?
We'll find out.
Oh, okay. So you don't even know yet.
Yeah, you don't even know.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but if not, I have contingency plans.
With some leverage. So did they at least reimburse you for that? Because I know that test's expensive.
Yeah. So I took the class officially from them as well. And it was like $1,400 or some shit like that. It's pretty steep. Yeah. I was talking to some people that were there to take a different exam on the exam day. And I was like, oh, what are you guys, taking your exam on? Oh, we're a registered nurse. We're taking that whole quiz and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And they're like, yeah, we're really hoping we pass. Ours was like, it's a $200 exam. And I was like, ha, that's funny. Mine's $500.
Bitches. Man, you talk about going to school though. Like, so my wife is almost done with nurse practitioner program. Mm-hmm. And so she's done CNA, LPN, RN. Now she's almost done with this. And I joke with her. I'm like, so when are you going to become a doctor? Because it's on the next step inevitably. Seriously? But I couldn't imagine, because at that point you're just writing papers and, all of that stuff. So I just.
Yeah. That's what they were in there taking, is their RN exam. Whatever that is officially called. But
I don't know.
Well, I mean, speaking of taking tests, I've heard that Andy had to take a test and he found out that he's a little bit retarded, and it was due to something in his household. About some
like,
mold.
I don't think you can say that word.
I don't. That's, you see how bad I hesitated. I was like, ew. But Andy found out that he had some moldy privates or something like that, and had to have some carpet torn out. I think, because you still had a home from the '90s where they put carpet in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was shag carpet. Well, so let me tell you the whole story, because there's some other stuff behind there. So it was just this day of like, oh, good. So in our bathroom on the drywall right next to the shower, the drywall was like bubbly. So we're like, let's just ignore that for like 8 months and just hope it's not a big deal. Ooh. Yeah. So finally one day we were like, well, we should call somebody out. So we called a plumber. It's like, whatever. And at the same time, so I have a basement, and in the basement, the bathroom down there has a sump pump, right? So it has to push everything up, work against gravity. So we called them out, and so it was acting weird, and where the pump is, there was some water, and I was like, well, let's have somebody come out and look, because we just had it replaced. It was very expensive. So the guy comes out. So all he does is like cut the drywall off. He's like, yeah, I'm not telling you have mold, but he pulls this slimy piece out. He's like, I'm pretty sure you have mold. This is gross, right? So the reason for, which I was hoping would have been pipes, is not the reason. In the shower, we have those big, like, I guess, acrylic pieces, right? Like,
Yeah.
I call it a kit, but it's just like those big pieces. The seal had come off over time, and so water was just seeping back behind the wall.
Oh my gosh.
So the guy comes out, so we get a referral for the mold remediation. So he at this point, nobody's looked in the wall. So the guy takes his little thermometer gauge and like measures the
And it's like Chernobyl.
moisture. Yeah. Listen, it was like 4 feet up from the ground that moisture was. So I was like, oh,
No
shit,
way.
this is terrible. So he's telling us about it. And he's like, yeah, if the plumber would have mentioned it was pipes or dysfunction of the pipes, your insurance would cover it. I'm like, do I know a plumber? It'd be great if I just knew a plumber that could just come do a visit and write up a thing. To go back to school, be a plumber the next whatever. So then I was like, all right, we get done with that. It's frustrating. So we go downstairs. Guy's like, yeah, your pump's not working. And I was like, oh no. So we end up calling the company who installed it. The guy comes out. Now, by the way, we took out an extended warranty on the pump. So when I called them, I said, hey, just how does that work? Like, do I go through you guys, whatever? So the lady goes, that's a good question. Hang on. So I get transferred. Lady answers the phone. I said, yeah, so this woman that picks the phone up has no idea who I am, thinking I'm just a regular caller. I have to redo my question to her. She's like, oh, hang on. She disappears for like a good 10 minutes. Finally, I talked to this man. He doesn't even know. He's like, don't worry about it. We'll make sure we get everything handled. I'm like, but that's kind of an important answer to this problem, because if it's in warranty, I need to know who to take it to. So anyways, I still don't get an answer. The guy shows up and he's like, oh yeah, we just call the company. And I was like, can you please relay that back to everybody at your company? Because apparently nobody knows. So long story short, my wonderful daughter flushed something down the toilet and it got stuck in the pump.
Oh, what was
So
it? Did you find it?
I was like, it was underwear. I was like, of all the toilets, you could have done it in any other one in this house.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, because it's going right to the city. You know what I'm saying? And there's like, it is a 8-lane in that. I don't care. All the ones. So it was hard to get mad at or whatever. But so I said to the guy, I was like, hey, is that the weirdest thing you ever pulled out of a thing? And he goes, oh, not even close. And I hesitated to ask, well, tell me, because I'm terrified but intrigued. So I didn't, because I can only imagine. Right?
Boo.
I didn't.
Dude.
I know.
Dude,
All the
you just
listeners right now.
You just jacked us off and then
Fail.
stopped right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end.
Yeah,
So, well, yeah, I know. So he fixes it. Well, anywho, so the bathroom, so we'll go back to the bathroom. So all of this happens in one day. Well, then we just had the mold people come today. They were here from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. And they completely took out from probably the ground to about 4 to 5 feet of drywall almost everywhere. And so now it's just in there. It has to dry for like a week. We can't use it.
These
so
big, large
I have no
fans that
shower.
go,
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, so cool, right? Like the door to the bathroom had this cool little zipper, which I didn't even know you could get. Like it was like, think of like the tarp that you would put down for painting. And so they tape it around the door, but it's got a zipper. And I was like, I just want to buy this just because. Like, this is cool.
Now you need like a yellow like hazmat suit just to come out.
Right?
Don't go in there.
So how much fun would that be if you're in a hazmat suit and you're carrying like white bags and there's just like maybe soccer balls in there that are all red, and like you can have so much fun with the people in your neighborhood. But like we have no shower, it's just concrete and then the hole where the drain goes. So we had companies come out to give us a bid to replace and do the mold Because we were like, well, let's just see if we could just have them fix it all and do it once. We had one company quote us at $9,500 and another one quote us at 20. And this isn't for tile or anything. This is just the acrylic plastic nonsense. That was just yeah. So I looked at my wife and I said, hey, I can like nail something into a wall and like put up a ceiling fan. Let's redo our bathroom. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? So within a week, we're gonna be our own DIYers and like tile a shower and do all this stuff and put some drywall in. And
well, good for you guys. So, my buddy's coming into town. He's really good at that shit. You'll have to talk to him. Like he remodeled his entire house.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law did. One of Michelle's sister, her husband, he did the same thing. And so I'm like, can you just be the foreman and just kind of be like, here's how you do this or that? And I was just asking him questions about like cutting tile and doing this stuff. But
yeah,
you know,
the cutting of the tile and
deep
stuff,
end and do this.
Yeah, the tile and stuff, it's not that hard. To be honest, it's all the waterproofing. Because you have to do like the pink membrane, or depending upon what you're building it out of. But
so I guess there's like
literally the hardest part out of all of it, and then the drain piece, like
so we might hire a plumber to do the pan because I don't know what I'm doing. But there's like green drywall, and then
you
have this red stuff.
Pan 2M.
I mean, listen, I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos to kind of walk me through the rest of it, but I'm going to give it a shot. So
it's like working on your car, right? Ryan,
I don't do that.
We've all been there. We YouTube some stuff, and then you're just like, I don't know that I want to get into that right now.
This is going to be a 15-minute job.
Vehicles.
Yeah, it's a 15-minute job.
Later.
Yeah, 3 days later, like, oh, fuck this, man. I'm still taking it to the dealership. Yeah.
So
I
told my wife, I go,
that is kind of cool.
We'll see. But I told my wife, I said, we'll either not have a shower for 2 weeks or 2 months. One of the two. This is going to be done within some of those timelines. So, right? Oh, yeah. We have a couple other bathrooms.
Yeah, he's got a mansion. So, you can go to like
I have a mansion,
level B7. Folks,
Hey,
are
there woman mansions, or are there just mansions?
Oh.
Okay, so moving on to
that's a good question. Why are they mansions?
Wow.
Can't they be woman?
They're not man chins, because that would be like what's underneath your the bottom of your face. That's a chin. That's a man. That's a man.
I agree
chin,
with you, Ryan.
Okay?
Let's move on.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Let's really step it up, guys. Let's go all out.
That's amazing.
High bar it. Ryan, what's your thing about tissues?
Oh yeah, okay. If we're on this type of topic with the whole mansion,
I mean, might as well. We're not going to leave it and come back.
Mansion thing, right? Just put that one aside. That was stupid. But here's something that's maybe put some thought into it at least. We'll go. We'll start there.
The mansions.
Okay, here we go.
Everybody know.
When you become adults, when you get to a certain point in life, do you buy tissue for your nose? I'm talking like strictly blowing your nose. That's it. Or do you still continue to use toilet paper and then just pull like a couple sheets off and blow your nose? Like, is there any benefit to buying tissue paper when you can just use toilet paper?
I use paper towels.
Oh my God. The most expensive out of all of them.
Man, that's rough. And what type of paper towels? Like the brown ones that are in gas station bathrooms?
The
what
Costco
grade sandpaper
brand.
do you use?
Right.
Yeah, I do. I buy tissues mostly because I don't use tissues very often at all. It's only when I get decently sick. And then when that actually happens, I'm like blowing my nose and wiping my nose like nonstop. So I have to buy the better ones that like have lotion in it, or else I'm just super annoyed at like when your nose is red or chafed.
We have every part of the spectrum, so that's good. We have Andy who uses paper towels, sandpaper. We have myself who uses toilet paper, and we have Ryan who uses luxurious lotions of any sort to wipe his nose.
And then my son who literally just sleeve my shirt, all that stuff happens.
He's a child.
Now, to add one, my grandfather lives with us, and he uses like Kleenex, but also he has a handkerchief.
Hey, I never got the handkerchief thing. I'm like, what?
You just leave it in your pocket?
Yes.
Yeah.
You put it back in, then you get it back out
Snot.
to use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I've not switched over to tissues is because with my deviated septum, I'm still blowing my nose tremendously. And I think from a cost perspective, I still think tissues are probably the cheaper route to go than tissues, and way cheaper than your option, Andy, of paper towels. I guess if you're talking, to our fans here, that they use their t-shirts apparently, which is the ultimate cheap
Long
route.
sleeves.
But because you're not buying anything extra, except you probably
I
have
mean,
toilet paper, I hope.
It's not
Roger's
rocketed.
got to have some handkerchiefs, right? He's in that generation.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's either in the generation that does that, or also his generation's like, I'm just gonna like snot rocket it out.
Not rocket. Yeah.
Till it goes all over yourself.
Yeah.
You can only
All
do that
everywhere.
with one that is in there. Like, hey, I know I have one in there. Can't use that with just like a running nose, because it's just like it's like trying to pee in the middle of the night.
Well,
Old shop towels.
towels. Jesus.
Wow.
Yes, and
But-
those would be the worst.
But the whole thing just came up for me because like I'm blowing my nose constantly with paper towels, or excuse me, toilet paper, and I'm just like, does anybody actually need tissue paper unless their nose is sensitive? But could just be me.
See, I think it's a
Is it a status in life?
no, it's a matter of convenience first and foremost. Okay, because like, is it on your desk right next to you, or you got to get up and go to get something, right?
Convenience, status. Yeah.
I mean, I did. So in the middle of 2020, all that crazy time that we all lived through. I remember going out to try to find toilet paper and paper towels. Found a place that would literally let me buy 2 packs of each, because I was getting stuff for your parents as well, Ryan. And I came home and put it on the table, and I remember being like, hey, I'm really looking for, a mansion in Scottsdale. I'm willing to trade, no lowball offers, because I know what I got.
Yes.
Like, it's just, I don't know why that just popped into my head.
Like what people are doing with like their eggs.
Yes, exactly. Like I got chickens.
Wow.
I'm which we want to, we're getting talked into like, actually getting chickens for a backyard, or an area. We got a huge backyard, so it would work. But my new dog would probably murder them in 2 seconds if they were out. So
Hey, then you get free chicken.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's a win-win situation.
All right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but recently I've had some decently large purchases. Okay.
Oh shit.
And I think Ryan's had some decent purchases, and I'm talking like $1,000, right, or under. They're not actually large purchases. I'm just bullshitting everybody. And it segues with Andy's DIY, because this weekend I decided that my very sun-faded and dilapidated gate that's along the side of the house, I needed to tear apart it and rebuild it. And the guy that previously owned the house built it. So like, during my rebuilding of it, you're trying to like put the boards back. Like I cut the boards, stain the boards, drill the holes in the boards, paint the all of it. Anyway, terribly more expensive than I wanted it to be. But also way cheaper than buying it someplace. But I'm putting the boards back in.
I've never seen these doors since until I moved out to Phoenix. So for maybe people who don't live in Phoenix, picture your backyard, which is gated, right? And fenced in. This is just a door to get into your backyard, right? It's the gate. And gates here in Phoenix are picture like a jail cell, right? With the vertical bars. They just have slats of wood in between them. And there's not a single piece of like plywood. It's like slots, right? So you're buying like 1x4s to slot in there. And I'm sorry, Ryan, I just had to explain that because
that's a good point, because I hadn't either.
To Arizona.
Yeah,
I've never
some
seen
people's
these type before.
Some people, it's just a basic doorway for people to walk through, and other ones like mine, it's more like an RV gate, which is wider.
Same.
So there's more boards. Like mine had, and mine's not the widest. Like I really can't take an RV past my house. My property's not wide enough, but you can fit a car in it, but it's like mirror to mirror. So think of that. That's how wide it is. And I had 26 boards that's there. So I got to cut each one, stain each one, drill 2 holes in each one. Anyway, the vertical bars that this guy, because he welded the whole entire thing. Not a single one of them things are straight. So like you get it, and it's like, okay, it's perfectly at the bottom, and then the top's all crooked. I'm like, God, why? Why is everything so whacked out on this thing? So those, but I ended up spending like $200 on it, which is good because I probably would have spent like almost $1,000 by having somebody else do it. And I still have like 3 boards that I have to do. One, because there's again one spot. Everything else was 3.5 inches wide for every single one, except the 2 end ones were 4, and the very middle one is 5. And the closest board I can get is a 5.5. So I gotta rip one down the middle, special versus all the others. But Ryan, I think you had something more exciting to watch your HOOKUP porn on at your house. What did you buy?
So aggressive. I did have one comment on your gate fixing thing though. My buddy a long time ago, his dad was like, we were working at Solar City at the time. We were just in the Home Depots and the Best Buys, and we were those people that you didn't want to talk to. And we were just like not really going anywhere, just like working, right? Just work and go home and play video games, work, go home, play video games. And he's like, you guys need to like start a business. You guys need to create a business that does that exactly what you're saying, Ryan. And it is so true that it could be a valid business idea, because I don't see a whole lot of people doing those things. And every single house that has those boards, they're all shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every single one.
Sun's so intense, it rips them apart. And like, it's even more than, okay, there's a ton of them that you could just go around and be like, hey, I'll completely rebuild this for X dollars.
Give me $500. I'll do this right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And then there's the other houses where they're not that bad yet. They don't need rebuilt. They just need restained. So that way you don't have to rebuild it, in a few years. Because most of it is the paint, and then the boards dry out just because they're literally sitting in an oven their whole entire life.
Yeah. Yes. Well, at Vince and his dad for giving us that idea, because it's still a valid idea to this day. Could have been making some money.
Yeah, it really wasn't that hard. It was just time consuming because I was trying to figure out everything with the wackiness that it was built. But yes. Yeah. What else? What have you purchased lately besides anything that vibrates that your wife has the remote control for your underwear now?
I put on my big boy pants with my properly positioned belt loops. And we went full circle there. And I bought my first OLED TV. LG, I don't know what it means, but C2, which is apparently better than the B's and the A's, if there even is an A.
You got it at Costco, didn't you?
I did get it at Costco. And yeah, my first OLED 65-inch, which I think we don't have like the biggest place here. We're sitting in like 1,000 square foot house, but it fits perfectly. I also bought a new sound
Did you actually
bar.
buy a sound system? Oh my God.
A sound bar
for
with a
reference.
subwoofer.
For reference. So everybody knows, Ryan, for the last, how long have you lived out here? 7 years? 7 years. Has been using for his TV a Logitech computer sound system that's from like 1999. It's like the one you bought where when you were getting rid of those 2 gray speakers that anytime you were about to get a text or a call, you'd hear like, that's how old the speakers were that Ryan was using as his quote unquote sound system, where he had to get up and turn a knob.
I bought those speakers as a sophomore in college, and I've had them ever since. And I plugged them into just different TVs and different monitors, and they were my speakers for years. And they still sell the same exact ones today. So, hey, that must have been a pretty good purchase. And I'm hoping these so this sound bar with a subwoofer, I wanted something with a little bit more oomph. I'm hoping it does a pretty good job. But right now, I'm kind of skeptical. But I love my TV. My TV's awesome. Those blacks are darker than Andy's shirt right now. That's how seriously black those darks are, and it's awesome.
I don't think you can say that.
We definitely just got taken off the air now.
We're talking TVs, people. Those shades of very, very dark black are super black, and it's awesome.
Like how you're
the differences between shades and when it comes into light, it is just so crisp.
I like how you have your old TV behind you now that I see it's just leaned up against your wall. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my. I don't even know what brand it is, honestly. But yeah,
it's a
it was super old.
Hasansai.
Really?
Hachikachi.
No, what Andy? What were they that I found that were like literally $100 for like some 55-inch?
Oh man, like
Chang Hong.
Hisense.
I'm not Chang
Yeah.
Hong. I'm not kidding you. That is the exact pronunciation. Chang Hong brand.
So,
Walmart.
and our friend in the chat says he has a 2.1 Corsair system, and I looked that up along with many other options as well. And again, I'm in a limited space, so I almost bought ones that had like rear speakers as well. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. I live in a small place. I don't need like speakers behind me. But yeah, I looked into those as well. It was a pretty good option. My buddy told me not to skip on sound. You know, don't get something because it's cheap. Don't get something this. Spend the extra money. You'll enjoy it. But I'm still kind of skeptical.
Which one did you buy? Which
I don't know
didn't think
again what the
brand.
shit means, but I got an LG
it's an LG.
GS90, and it's basically the one that comes with the rear speakers. But it doesn't come with the rear speakers, but it comes with everything else. It's like a 9 point something.
Yeah, 9.1 probably because of the sub. The point is usually the sub.
Mm.
Yeah, Roger has. I think he's got a Samsung one that's pretty decent in the one room that he's got, and like that's the one that if I ever want to finally get a sound bar for the TV in our front room, like that's the one I'd probably get because it's about the size of your guys' living room.
The thing that's coolest though about all of this is I finally hid all. I hung my TV right mounted on the wall. I finally hid all my wires behind.
Oh,
and like
big boy!
I didn't get like a strip, like put that down the middle. No,
cut a hole,
full blown circular saw into the wall.
Hit a pipe.
Hit
the plumber.
Call the plumber.
It's gone.
No, but it looks really slick. And that TV, I'm not shitting you, is thin all the way around.
I saw a picture on Instagram or something that you had posted, and that thing literally it's impressively thin. Like not like overly impressively thin, but it's impressive. And then I went to Costco the other day and I saw one that would look like that I was checking out. I need a new TV in my back room, but I don't know about you guys. Well, apparently not Ryan. Maybe Andy, because we got 10 years on this little guy. That I'm at the point where I'm like, is this broken? Yeah. Does it still work though? Yeah. Fuck it. I'm not gonna replace it. Like they almost got me on Black Friday. They almost got me this year because I like a whole half of my TV at this point. It's so dark you almost can't see it if there's any bit of light on. But I'm like, the other half still works. So Andy did have a big boy purchase though. You got Sabian or something? What? Samsonite. I'm sorry, Samsonite. I was way off. Vehicle. You didn't you just get a it's been a while since you've been on the show, but yes.
Yeah.
Is this an electric vehicle?
No.
No. I mean, it vibrates if you sit on it. Anyhow.
It does, not in a good way.
Don't for anybody watching, do not look up Sabian.
Do not.
Don't.
Yeah. So I bought a Jeep Wrangler on December 29th.
Ooh, does it have nice belt loops?
I don't know. It's not at my house. Hasn't been at my house for a week.
Oh,
so
is it stolen?
Yes,
no,
that's what I'm confused now. I'm confused.
I wish. Okay. Bought it on December 29th. So I get some tax benefits there. 5 days into owning it, we are set to head to Durango, Colorado for vacation. So I bought it when I bought it so we could drive it because we don't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle. We needed 4-wheel drive. The morning of, it's like January 2nd, I had to drive my grandfather to have a procedure for his heart. We had to go at like 4 a.m. So I'm driving him to downtown Phoenix. And for anybody that's ever owned a Jeep, the dreaded death wobble is never fun. So that happens. So it happens 2 or 3 times on the way there, a couple more times, and I'm furious. I am absolutely pissed because I can't drive this to Durango.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, the death wobble is where the 2 front wheels start to shake against each other, like back and forth. Like it basically is ripping the steering wheel out of your hand too.
Yeah. So and like violent. So there's this debate with people that it vibrates or whatever, but it's violently shaking.
Mhm.
So so bad to the point where you have to stop, like slow down to a stop. So I'm on the freeway. Now, granted, it's 5 a.m., so there's not a ton of people, but
Thank
still.
God.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh-huh.
that's right.
Holy shit.
So I get home, it's like 6. I don't know what to do. I'm like pissed, I'm angry, I have all these emotions. We're leaving in like 4 hours. I don't know what to do. So I call as soon as the dealer opens, I call the service department. I talk to this woman. She's really great. And she's like, when did you buy this? And I told her, and she goes, no. She's like, call this guy, talk to your salesman, whatever. So we leave. I have to go rent a vehicle. So we go down to the airport to rent a car from Enterprise because
Oh,
they
and
rent.
you're renting it at the airport. That's even
That's right.
worse.
So we had to drive to the airport.
Well, Jeep better reimburse you for that.
Well, I'll get to that. So I end up renting
Holy
a Jeep
shit.
Gladiator because I was like, oh, this thing's cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Same problem.
It really
No.
was. It really was nice. So much so I was like, I should have bought this thing. So we go on vacation. So that day I end up texting my salesman because again, it's 5 days. Like we're still friends, right?
Yeah.
hate
Still
this-
friends.
Thanks
I
for
hate
the
this guy.
Jeep.
He's a fucking idiot. Sorry. So I text him. I'm like, hey man, here's what happened. He's like, all right, well, can you take it in right now? I was like, no, we left for Durango. Remember when I told you that was the reason I'm buying the Jeep right now? Do you remember that? So
What a sales guy.
he's like, okay, I'll have so-and-so call you. Okay. That's on Tuesday. I don't hear from anybody the entire week. I text this guy back and forth a couple times. Nothing. I mean, we had some meaningless conversation, blah, 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 blah. So we come home on Saturday, I take the Jeep back. Now the Jeep's at my Jeep is at my house. So it's just sitting here. Now I can drive it around town because Death Wobble only happens at high speeds. So freeway speeds, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
driving it around.
Okay.
So I end up going through 2 reviews. I put a review on, I don't know, they have this whole site where it's not just like Google reviews or whatever, but like I put a review on him. I gave him 1 star and then I gave the dealer 1 star. Lo and behold, somebody calls me. Some like customer service manager,
Now they care.
I don't know.
Mhm.
That's right.
It's in the public eye.
So he calls me Sunday at like 3:00 in the afternoon. Hey man,
Hey,
sorry
man.
I'm off. Yeah. So sorry. I read this, blah, blah, blah. Let's get you in on like Tuesday. Because the first service appointment was like 2.5 weeks out. So I booked it in anyways. So I talked to this man.
First off,
He's like,
I don't mean to make you stop here, but like
no.
you're more patient with it than me because my ass would have drove it to the freaking dealership that night that it started doing it. and
Dropped
leave
it off.
like literally in the front glass, like up against the door.
Here's
Like,
your
I
car
know.
back.
Yeah.
Special
Call me.
delivery.
Yeah.
Call me.
Bitches.
Doesn't work. Yeah. Keys on
Oh,
the
same,
dash.
Brian. I would have been livid.
Yeah,
I would have
so-
like,
towed that shit back there and dropped it on top of another Jeep.
It would have been in the most inconvenient place for them possible. Literally, like front glass,
Inside the
you know,
dealership.
showroom,
I
like
totally
against
agree.
the showroom
that
glass.
thing would have
Like,
been gone.
Yep.
In my mind, I have done this 2 or 3 times where I just like walk in and cause a scene and I'm like, I'm out. So it's not off the table because I'll get to why. It's not
Okay.
off the
Oh,
table.
wow.
So
All right,
there's still
all right.
more. It gets better.
There we go.
It gets better.
Put your seatbelt on or make sure
So the
you're
guy's like, we'll take care of you, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? So I show up Tuesday, tell him the whole story. I'm like, come on, dude, I bought this for a reason. Mind you, this thing had 14,000 miles on it. It's a 2021 and it was certified pre-owned. Okay. Trifecta of shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, I have called it. There shouldn't be any issues with this thing. Okay. Like at all. So they give me a loaner car because I made a big deal. I'm like, guys, I can't show up at this time, whatever. So I ended up getting a loaner vehicle. During the time that I was there, it was probably about 45 minutes. The salesman asked me to change my review twice. And then this other guy was like, can you change it? I said, no, you
No,
haven't
thanks.
done anything yet. I'm not changing anything. So they keep
Does,
it.
does my vehicle? Can you change my vehicle out? Can you give me my money back?
Now I'm like, no problem. I'll do it once the vehicle, we're good. So they take it for about a week, maybe 8 days. So their solution was to replace the steering damper. Now I know zero about vehicles. I know that's not the solution. Okay. I already know that's not the solution. So
I
all
don't.
right. Okay. It's not.
Okay.
So I spent days researching this and like, like educating myself real quick because I want to intelligently have a conversation about what
Mhm.
did you replace and why does that make a big deal?
Yeah,
In
you're
fact, I
not the
even
only
texted
Jeep
Ryan.
owner that has had this problem,
No.
so you can easily Google it and be like, "What do you need to fix?"
Good point. My salesman said, "Oh, all Jeeps have that happen," and I said, "Really?" Because I had a Rubicon for about 2 years and it never happened. Not one time did that happen. So it's just odd that it just
Mhm.
So I even text Ryan. Ryan's like hammered at Barrett Jackson, and
Yeah.
I'm just getting one word answers. He's like alignment, this. I was like, okay, enjoy. Like, go buy something stupid and like have fun. So I get it back. No big deal. I'm like, all right, before I do anything. So this dealer is called Courtesy Jeep Dodge and fucking blah 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 blah. They're in Mesa. Don't ever shop there, assholes. So I get it, and it's right off of the 60 and the Superstition exit. When I tell you I drove the shit out of this thing for an hour, I'm driving 70 miles an hour on the side of the freeway. You know how like there's the exit ramp and then there's like the rocks and it's like uneven? That's me driving it like bad out of hell. Because I'm like, I'm not taking this home if it's going to happen again. I drive it. I find every uneven ground that I could find on the freeway. No go for like a good 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, maybe that was the issue. We're good. Drive it for the next couple days. Now, between me picking it up and then the future, I have a snowboarding trip. So, no, I didn't. So, I have a snowboarding trip coming up to go to Sunrise. Got it. I got all this cool stuff for my Jeep and whatever. Mother happens again.
It just doesn't want you to go on a trip. That's what it is.
I think so. So, it happens now. At this point, it happens, and I was like, you know what? I'm done dealing with these idiots. So I seek out the general manager. Now, between all of this happened, I left out some stuff. So I had to spend $830 for a last-minute rental. So I asked this customer service guy, can you reimburse me for this? Well, I need you to because this isn't my fault, right? He's like, okay, send me your receipt. I'll see what I could do. I don't hear anything. We have conversations. I never hear about that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go find the general manager. So I search him online. I find him and I write him this email. You sold me shit. I got a pig with lipstick on it. And guess what? The lipstick came off and it's still a pig. Like you guys sold me a piece of shit and I'm not happy. First thing he does, responds right away. And I was like, okay, we'll take care of it. I'll call you on this day. Well, here comes the day. I don't hear from him. I'm like, you. So now in my mind, I'm just going to roll up and here's my Jeep. So the next day, one of his boys calls me. So whoever's below him calls me. He's like, hey, we're going to reimburse you. I'm going to send you a check. All right, great. He goes, yeah, so I know there was some discussion about the review. I said, uh-huh. He goes, so, tell me about that. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Have you read it? He goes, no. I said, well, okay, there's two. There's two of them. So find them and feel free to read them. And I said, you're asking me if I've had any consideration to update them or I'm going to change them. And I said, I'm going to tell you, be careful what you ask for. And he was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's gotten worse.
Shit.
I was like, okay, first off, go read it. Secondly, it's still happening. What do you want me to say? Update, they reimbursed me for my rental car. The Jeep's still a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
What am I updating? So be careful what you ask me for. So I even threw out to him and I said, listen, in my line of work, not right now, but previously, we would coach business owners to actively read and respond to reviews purposely for this reason right here, right? When somebody has a shitty experience, we would coach them, immediately respond. Because if somebody wants to say, oh, they did me dirty, oh, guess what? We responded, we did it. Okay, I don't care if you don't like me. We did everything. That's right. So he wasn't ready to handle that. So, okay, we part ways. So then I emailed the general manager again. Hey, man, it happened again. I don't feel safe in this thing. It's like, you guys sold me a piece of shit. I said, how is it that I'm held accountable as the consumer to buy something that you didn't hold your end of the bargain? This isn't okay. He's like, so sorry, we'll take care of it. So the next day, now we're getting closer to me going up to Sholo to go snowboarding. The guy's like, I'll call you. So now I've got service manager. Okay. So now service manager calls me. I'm at some place getting an alignment done. Maybe this will help. Maybe they just didn't do an alignment, whatever. So he's talking to me. I'm giving him the details. So I get my alignment done. The guy shows me. I don't know what I'm looking at, but he's like, yeah, we need to do an alignment. okay, cool. It was like $80. So get it done. I drive to Sholo. Sure as shit, it happens again. Happens like 2 times driving up to Sholo. Sketchy because I'm in Payson and it happens
Yeah.
and like
You're in the mountains.
sketch.
You're
Yeah.
in snow.
Sketchy. No snow in Payson. But
Okay.
so it only happened on the way up and on the way back, driving in and out of Sholo. Because remember, it's only high speeds. So I come home. I dropped it off last week on Tuesday. Okay. So I show up. I've got the service manager, this other guy that I talked to, and then the regular dude who takes your car in. So I'm standing in front of all 3 of them. And they're like, hey, how's it going? And I go, what do you think my answer to that question is going to be? I said, here I am again.
I'm back here
with this piece of shit that you sold me that still is broken. So prior to me leaving, I took the spare tire cover off because it had one of those so I bought a Jeep Islander. I've never even heard of this trim. Okay. So if you look it up, it just says Islander on the hood where Rubicon is. Yeah. And it's like tiki letters and
never heard of it.
On the spare tire cover, it's got a little tiki guy. And it came with some cool things, part of this package. It's whatever.
Like factory death wobble.
Apparently.
Is there an on-off switch for that bad boy?
I guess so. On when you're on the freeway. So I take the spare tire cover off. Remember, this thing had like 14,500 miles on it. This tire was like chewed up and spit out. There were chunks missing out of it. It was mangled. So I showed them and I go, service manager, the guy's name is, I don't fucking know. Doesn't matter. I go, hey, see this? And he goes, yeah. And I go, tell me how a 14,000 mile car looks like that. How does the tire that has allegedly 14,000 miles look like that? How does that work? He didn't even know what to say. He's like, oh. And I go, you're right. And I go, so again, I'm going to tell you to your face, you guys sold me a piece of shit that came in, probably had to get towed in. You said, you know what? This thing has low miles. Let's put certified pre-owned on it. Now, thank you, because I have this extended ass warranty for like 100,000 miles or some nonsense, because you're going to fix this forever.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. So they give me another loaner vehicle. And I was like, you know, fuck these guys. So
they're not solving the problem.
Yeah.
No. So I'm like, I'm going to screw up this
is pissing me
rental
off.
car they gave me. This thing was a piece of shit anyways. This thing shakes on the freeway. And I was like, great. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the problem, right?
Yeah. Apparently you've had too many bean burritos lately.
So man, I've like tried to lose weight. Like maybe it's just me. I'm just opposite. So today I had to go back down there because they gave me the loaner car that had no license plate. So for the last week, I've been driving a loaner car around with no dealer license plate, dude. Okay? Yeah. So they gave me a brand new Ram 1500 e-torque. Now let me tell you, since I've taken it home, like to me, this is a rental car, and it is getting rental car treatment, and it had 9 miles on it when I rolled out of the dealer today.
Wow.
So somebody's gonna get something fucked up, and I don't even care. So I talked to the guy today, and I go, hey, what is it that you're gonna do and find this time that you didn't do the first time? Because I'm real curious how you're gonna fix this again. I said, because I'm not showing up a third time. I might, but that's not going to be good. No, man, we're going to really do this and blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay. So 2 days ago, what's today? Friday, last week, Friday. So I found Lemon Law attorneys and I contacted them. And so they had this whole questionnaire that I had to fill out, and it gives you a score, like 80. If you get 80 points, you definitely have a case. Mine's a 71. So the guy calls me. He goes, all right, explain to me. So I tell him this whole story. He's like, all right, take it in a third time. If it happens again, let them try to fix it. He goes, if it doesn't, regardless, after that third time, call us. You have a case. We'll take care of it. And I was like, cool. I'm just going to wash my hands. So to your point about dropping it off, that third time, don't even call me. I'm never coming back for this thing.
Speak to my fucking lawyers.
That's exactly it. In fact, my hope is to find one locally. And if it happens again, I'm going to pick his ass up and we're going to drive it to the thing and say, hey, where's your general manager? Because I'd love to introduce him to my attorney. Like, I'm going to be that guy and get this entire thing canceled. So to recap, to update my review, I almost want to go back and just start listing all of this. I have held myself back to do it because I'm so pissed off that I don't know how to feel about this scenario. So my first car payment is this coming Sunday. I have owned that vehicle probably 50% of the time that it has been in my possession, where it's been at my house. Now, the only reason it's that high is because that week we were in Durango. So if I took that out, I have owned this Jeep for 10 days. So now my next thing to them is, hey, it's weird that I have to make my payment and you guys have my car. So you're going to kick in for that, or what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I have a Jeep. At some point I might get a new, I don't know what's going to happen.
What a story.
So, yeah, fucking sucks, man. I hate it.
I did
Dude,
not
you gotta
expect
keep
us to
us
go to
updated.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good.
So I saw the guy today, so then I asked him about tires, and I was like, hey, so they do these Rubicon takeoffs where they lift the car and they take these brand new wheels off and tires. And I said, hey, so I'm certainly interested in some, mind you, I'm not paying for any of it, like not at all. And I said, so, typically the Rubicon takeoffs, and I even said, I can go to the Earnhardt dealer right down the street. I can get them for about $1,000. I was like, I'm looking in the neighborhood of like $200. Like, what are the chances that we're doing that? I said, I got to imagine it's at least 100%, don't you think? And he just kind of looked at me. He goes, we're going to make it right. Don't worry. He's like, I'm going to at least get you a brand new spare tire. And I was like, I had my
Oh, thank you.
Fucking idiot. I was about to go
Brand new
off. I had
spare
my daughter with
tire.
me.
Thank you for
for
one.
giving me a tire that I'm never going to use. It's just there for show.
Yeah.
Thank you
But
so much.
mostly,
jerk.
we want to get rid of the evidence. That's what it is.
100%. So
Dude.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's been my experience with.
Good
So I
on
will
you for
never,
having patience.
never. I will
Because
never go
would
there.
not have had that patience.
Yeah.
I even told. So here's two other points. This is my second car from them in less than 2 years. Okay. And I told the general manager that, I go, where's the loyalty? I didn't get any discounts or deals because this is within 2 years. It's not, I'm an idiot for doing this, but where's the loyalty? You could have given me $500 off and pretended like that's a big deal. You didn't do anything. I said, secondly, I have a daughter that's going to turn 16 in December. So I'm going to have another driver. She needs a vehicle. I can tell you it's not coming from here.
Yeah.
So
you realize how bad you messed all of this up? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, it can, but right now there's no chance. So
Dude, I hate car dealerships.
Yeah.
They're the worst. That's a
Horrid.
whole nother topic right there that I'm sure could
So-
go on for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Lesson learned, I will never buy another used vehicle. Now, listen, it could have happened with a brand new vehicle too. So in my research, Jeep has had a class action lawsuit because of death wobble. So they have a website that I could go to, plug in my VIN, and I could put all the repairs had they have cost me any money, and I actually reimburse you for them. Right? There's some sort of approval process for it, but it's nonsense.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When I said you had a big boy purchase, I didn't actually know there was a story behiund it. So everybody else, we were all learning at the same time.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be.
You
I shouldn't
was
have a
literally
story.
good thing I was wearing my belt with
Keep your pants
appropriately
on.
placed belt loops because
Yeah.
holy cow.
Yeah, I don't want a story. I just want a Jeep, and I just want to like go do Jeep stuff and like go be it because it's so nice out right now. Like I had all these plans to like go hike, we're going hiking and mountain bike. Like I can't do anything.
The best part of the story, is literally the dealership tried to give you the "it's a Jeep thing" statement to you, which is hilarious to me. Like, it's just a Jeep thing, Andy. Like they all do that. It's just a Jeep thing. You should be okay with that.
Whenever this gets done and I redo my my reviews, I will certainly share them with everybody because I'm not just gonna leave it at that. Like I'm gonna post the shit out of this.
Yeah, you're
I
like,
thought
"Oh,
about
this is gonna
calling
go
like
everywhere."
channel 3 on your side and just as much negativity as I can do. Because again, okay, you paid for my rental. You messed up. This isn't
Mhm.
me. So I'm very interested to see what happens if they do lemon it because I've never been through an experience like that, right? If they take it back, what do they do with your loan? Do they just can't?
Yeah.
Like I have no idea. I feel like I'm going to be left holding the bag of shit here, but
I mean, at
I'm
what
not-
point do you like get to a point where you're like, I need some help and I need an attorney? Like you've already obviously gone way further than that.
Yeah.
You're already getting an attorney. That's
we'll see.
That's pretty
Yep.
far.
Yeah. I mean, you have to though, because otherwise, like the regular person just because even I didn't know.
The general
It's like, oh,
manager
well.
will run circles around you and give you all sorts of excuses to.
Seriously.
Well, they
Yeah.
want to do the very bare minimum. Like,
That's right.
It's not our fault, and even if it was our fault, like we're not going to say it. And what's the smallest part that we could possibly replace to just
A
get him
damper.
out of the door, and hopefully it won't ever do it again.
Which, as I was looking, that's the easiest thing for them to fix. Oh, well, we'll just replace this. So
Yeah, and it's because they want you to take it back, so you put more miles on it, and it hits a certain point where it's like, well, it's just something wore out between that
That's right.
time. That just happens, Now it's a
So
warranty.
technically, I probably could have made a bigger deal had we have not gone to Durango, because I was within 5 days. There's a certain number of days or like miles. If something major happens, I could probably have called an attorney and be like, I'm wiping my hands of this. This is nonsense. But to chase down death wobble in these things, I could go broke. Literally, I could replace the entire front end and every component known to mankind. But I guess part of it, and it's not just a Jeep thing, like I guess Dodge has it happen and maybe Chevy or Ford, like one or the, but from what I've read, and a lot of times like their front axle or some sort of component is like, it's one piece. And that's a big culprit of this. I don't remember which part of it, but it's very interesting to like learn and educate myself about this, because I don't want to just get taught, like you're saying, I don't want to get talked in circles. For him to be like, oh, well, we did this. No. I know, like I can walk in there confident and have a conversation with it. And I even posted on a Jeep group in Facebook, and most people were nice. And like one guy's like, well, your dealer was the first problem. I was like, you're a troll. I'm blocking you. Like, you're an idiot. That's not what I asked for, right? Because I wanted to shop. Like, who's had this issue? And let me find your shop and go there and be like, what? Take it and get like an estimate for somebody that's a impartial third party. And I go back to them and be like, this is what it is. Because when I told them I got an alignment done, they were like, oh, well, did that fix it? Well, I'm standing in front of you, you dumbass. No, it didn't fix it.
Yeah, I'm even trying to take it somewhere else. Can we all just agree that it's a piece of trash? Well, I mean, your first problem was you bought a Jeep. I mean, that's just
should have brought a BMW.
Yes,
I don't know if I would have said that comment either, but
secretly, I want a Gladiator. It was so much fun to drive. So that's my hope, is to get rid of this nonsense. But I was so pumped because I got a diesel Jeep coming home from Sholo. I was averaging like 30 miles a gallon. It was freaking great, man. Nope.
Man. And then nope.
Then
you got your nice little death wobble, trying to, but at least it happened trying to take your grandpa to his doctor's thing rather than,
I know. Oh, I'd been furious.
When it actually screws up your vacation, that's when it would have been like, no, put this thing on a flatbed and say the place that you're towing it to is going to pay you.
Yeah. If it would have happened, I mean, listen, we would have found out, halfway out of the 101, right? Like it would have failed. Yeah, I would have been even more pissed. But that's when I would have just dropped it off and be like, I don't want this. Take it back. Nope. You guys you scammed me. So
I'm reading some of the chats right now, and this guy's saying about the cars in his area are just like, have labels and brands of high-end cars, but are just like thrown together.
And I even tried to buy a Jeep that had a lemon title, because a lot of buybacks happen, right? And it's very interesting when you look into what it was. So I found a couple that came from California, and that state's terrible just in general. So they have very strict, lemon laws. And so one Jeep was the ambient temperature sensor couldn't get fixed. I'm like, I'll buy that all day long. I don't care, because it was like $8,000 cheaper than I spent. The downside, though, I can never sell it, because nobody's ever going to take a trade-in for a lemon car. I'm going to get 50% what I owe. So I just couldn't take that chance. But I guess I got it on the front end, so I get to start the process for it. So we'll see what happens.
At least you didn't get it like, 10, 30, 50,000 miles down the road, right? Now you're having these problems. So it's better that it's happening now than later, but still, just
I guess,
not a good situation to be in, which sucks. But
well,
congrats on your big purchase.
One day.
I know you're a Jeep guy, though, because you had that Grand Caravan, and then you had another Grand Caravan before that, I thought.
So I had a Rubicon, and then I had this Grand Cherokee. The Grand Cherokee was nice. I mean, I love the Rubicon. Like, I'm all in on these, because now's the time. I'm like, I could be driving around with the top off. Like I said, do all these things. Nope.
Whoa. Driving around with your top off. That's free the nip moment.
Oh, this is total addition to this. The other day, I get an email from the same dealership. Hey, our records indicate that you own a Wrangler, and we're looking for them. And I have the emails, Brian. I'll send it both of you. I was like, please take this. This thing is a piece of shit. It doesn't work. Blah, blah. And so they were like, the guy didn't know what to say, and I was like, he's not going to respond back. So he's like, okay, well, let's. He scheduled me an appointment to show up, and then because I told him I'm bringing it in Tuesday at 1:00. So he sent me an appointment. I'm not going to talk to you. Like, I don't care. So Tuesday comes, I drop it off, and then I get a text. Hey, when did you pick your Jeep up? And I said, I just dropped it off today. Well, then why did we set an appointment? Like, he started getting a little chippy. I said, I never set an appointment. You sent me the email. I was going to do this. And I told you already, you're not going to go through this process. I go, you want to appraise my Jeep? Go look at it in the service department.
Yeah.
So now when this is all said and done, I'm going to throw that back at the general manager. Really? This is how you talk to consumers? Cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's just more ammo to leave
That's
a
right.
really great review when it's everything fully said and done.
I have also stopped talking to them on the phone, so they can either leave me a message and I'll respond via text or email. Because then I have you lay it out there, you know.
Mhm.
So, anywho, one day we'll see. Maybe next month I'll have
You have to keep us updated.
more
Yeah,
news.
definitely. We need more insight into the story and saga that is Andy's Jeep
I'm gonna
Geeky Hut.
I'm gonna start
I'm
my
still
own.
confused. I feel
yeah.
like somebody slapped a weird logo on something that wasn't actually a Jeep and sold it to you. That
It's a bizarre trim. I would never buy it. It's cool. Like it has a white top and the Jeep's black, so I like the contrast versus the same color.
Yeah.
I would have never picked this out, but I like it. So
well,
yeah, I'm gonna make myself a TikTok account. And I'm just gonna make videos.
oh
Like
god,
every
that would
day,
be
right?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am TikTok famous, so I can
Well.
help you out on that.
Ryan can hook me up. Mr. Famous can help me.
I didn't realize I could change my name during this thing. I should have put.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Whatever you want. Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
Back to normal.
Back to normal. Well, we appreciate
Check me
everybody joining us this week and every week. Please like, share, subscribe, follow on wherever
Yeah, I
you get your podcast, and share it with your friends, family, neighbors, cousins, ex-wives, brothers, sisters, cousins, former roommates. We
Share
don't
it with
care.
your chickens in the
Share it.
backyard.
Everybody. Yeah.
Put a TV
Get it
up
out there. Appreciate everybody, and we will see you next week.